taking a thumbnail is really annoying. I can't even see my arms all stretched out. And then it's wrinkly. I don't even know. I can't celebrate because then my shirt wrinkles. And can you see the D? No, me neither. What if I did this and then I look like a box? That's cool. Hello! Oh my god. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Kylie, rhymes with Smiley, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Video number 2. That was actually 4. Video number 2. I'm so excited to chat with you guys because today we're going to be talking about my preparation, application, audition, and acceptance story to the Juilliard School where I will be going in the fall, hopefully, not on Zoom. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about it today. I've gotten a lot of questions about the whole story, how I got into Juilliard. I couldn't tell you, I don't know, I have no idea. My audition process, just college auditions in general, which will be a different video, and we'll get to that, but today I just want to focus on the Golden J. Let's get to it. Also, you can see that I have hair today. Hello. So let's start in September. I didn't always know if college was the right path for me or not, but I definitely knew that I always wanted to audition for Juilliard regardless of if I got in or not. I just wanted to try and see what would happen. I didn't really know what the full college application experience... I really didn't know what the full college application experience was. At first, I was like, oh, I'll just apply to as many schools as possible, see where I get in, just as an option. Looking back, I was just bonkers because A, it's super expensive to apply to any school. You have to pay like your application fee, and especially in dance, you have to pay an audition fee, and then sometimes a separate dance application fee, and it just gets, the moolah is flying around, okay? I was gonna apply to like 17 schools, and then I quickly realized how much time you had to invest into each one, so I decided to apply to I think 6 schools total. We're gonna keep disclosed. Shh, it's secret. Yeah, so I applied to 6 schools and they were all like dance programs or had dance programs. Most of them were based off recommendations to me. When people would ask me what school I wanted to go to, I'd be like, if I got into Juilliard, obviously I'd go. I didn't audition saying like, oh, I'm definitely gonna get in, like this is where I'm gonna go, like I definitely know. Juilliard only accepts like 6% of each year's applicants total, I think. And that's not just the dance program, that's like the musicians, the dancers, and the actors. So like the dance percentage is even smaller. So I didn't think I was gonna get in. I was just gonna audition and see. I know so many people that were just too afraid to even like apply and audition for Juilliard. And I'm like, you never know until you try. Like I wouldn't have gotten in if I didn't try. But I tried out and I got in, and here's that story. So I, leading up, wow. Took my SAT in December, I scored on my schools, and that was that. I think in January, I took a tour of Juilliard. Like I got to see all their theaters and like where the musicians perform, this is where the dancers perform, the actors perform and everything. The only thing I didn't get to see was the dorms. We just talked about it, but we got to see all the studios and everything, all the facilities. And the second I walked in, I know this sounds super cheesy and like very cliche, but I was like, I connect with this place. Like, wow, like I could totally see myself here, which is like, you know, like very stereotypical, but like, I'm serious. I took a tour of all of the schools that I applied to except for one, just because it didn't work out with my schedule. There was one that I just did not like. I did not like the vibe. This is before I auditioned. I still auditioned for this school, but I went there and I had a tour and I just did not like the vibe. I didn't like the classes I got to observe, and that's not to say that that's not the perfect school for somebody else. You really have to go to the school that you feel good about and that makes you feel like, yeah, this is where I belong. This is where I could see myself going for the next 4 years. It's really about the vibe. Like, there's really no other way to put it. It's like, do you like the atmosphere? Do you like the energy that this school is like giving off to you? And if the answer is no, then that's not the school for you. You shouldn't go somewhere where you think you should go. You should go somewhere you feel that they'll help you get where you want to go. And I feel like Juilliard will do that for me. I don't know what I want to do exactly after graduation, but we're not there yet. I'm still gonna learn and evolve, and my plans might change. That's why I'm not setting them in stone now. You have to pick a school based on what your needs are, where you want to be in 4 years, and will this school help you get to that point? And I feel like Juilliard was that for me, and I really connected with the school and campus location, New York City. I love Lincoln Center. Just that area is, it's so beautiful. I just really loved it. So really keep that in mind when you're searching for a college that you want to go to, because it's where you're going to spend the next 4 years. You're going to spend a ton of money on this education, and if you don't like it, then you're missing out because you're not getting your money's worth and you're not really getting what you want to get out of it, you know? So I'd say really go, oh my God, we'll ignore that. I'd say really just go where you feel good about. Go where the vibes feel good to you and your soul. I'll talk about my other college audition experiences in another video because I mainly want to focus on Juilliard and how I like applied and everything. My Juilliard application, the online application, was the easiest one to fill out and submit by far. For that, I had to send a I had to submit an artistic recommendation letter and an academic recommendation letter. My SAT tutor wrote my academic recommendation letter, and then one of my teachers at my old school wrote my artistic one. So I got those submitted and those were done. Juilliard was off mid-November and that my audition was in March. I was like, oh, that's so far away, no need to stress about that. And then next thing I knew, March 3rd happened. Leading up to it, I was a little bit nervous. No, I was I was really, really nervous. I was really anxious for my Juilliard audition, as all of my auditions, but Juilliard, just because the hype is so like, it's so up there. You just hear all these like crazy horror stories, people's experiences about getting cut at ballet bar. And I was like, oh my gosh. So if you don't know, Juilliard's audition process, which I'll get into more later, Juilliard's audition is a ballet round and then a cut, modern round and then a cut. You have solos and then there's a cut, and then you have improv / choreography. That's the last dance portion, and then a cut, and then the interview. And it's a whole day. My audition day was like 10 to 4. It was really long. If you're auditioning for Juilliard or any college that requires any physical activity, bring snacks, bring lots of water and, I don't know, energy drinks if that's how you roll. That's cool, bro. The night before my Juilliard audition, I slept for 1 hour. I could not for the life of me fall asleep. I was hot. I was crying because I was frustrated that I couldn't fall asleep. I was like, I'm gonna be walking around like a Sasquatch because I cannot function on less than like 4 hours of sleep on the regular. And that's if my sleep schedule has been consistent, which it normally never is, so it's fine. I was like, oh my God, like this is not the time. The one day out of the year that I cannot fall asleep. I remember tossing and turning, listening to like 17 different podcasts, which all were like 30 to 45 minutes long, and podcast after podcast, I just kept getting more frustrated. I was like, I know this is like 45 minutes, so that's basically an hour out of my night, and I was just stressed out. I don't even know how I fell asleep in the end. 1 hour of sleep. My audition was at 10 and I had to get there by 9:30. I woke up at like 6 or 7. I don't know why. I just get really nervous before auditions, really shaky, so I need time for like my mind and my body to connect so I can be like, whoa dude, like calm yourself down. I got up, I drank my morning coffee. I think I had like 3 cups of coffee. Normally I don't. I normally have 1 to 2, but I was really stressed. I needed that energy. I got 1 hour of sleep. I was out of it. I woke up like a zombie. I was so tired. I don't know how I got through that day. Probably just pure adrenaline. I don't even think I took a nap after my audition was over. I woke up, I did my hair, which actually went really well for me. Normally on days when I'm stressed out and I have an audition, my hair just does not cooperate. I did my makeup. I had picked out my leotard the day before. I kind of knew what leotard I wanted to wear the entire time because like there's this one leotard that I wore to all my auditions. They said on the website that you can wear either pink tights or black tights for ballet. Just black leotard, pink or black tights. And I heart wearing black tights for ballet over my leotard. I don't know why, but I just love it. It makes me feel so So much like a dancer. This is not in dance. I don't know why I did that. So much like a dancer. I'm the most indecisive person in the world. Like, it took me a long time to decide whether I wanted to wear pink tights or black tights. I knew that I definitely wanted to wear black tights from modern on if I made it that far, which at that point I did not know what was gonna happen. I ended up last minute deciding to wear pink tights for ballet with pink ballet shoes, and for everything else I wore black tights over? I think I wore black tights over my leotard, yes, for the rest of the time. I was ready to walk out the door, said bye to my mom, my sister, and I was on my way. On my way there, I was really stressed because I was by myself, so it was like alone with my thoughts, which is just the worst place to be. So I listened to some music to calm myself down. I made myself a playlist the day before, and so I could just like listen to them without having to like skip the songs that I like but I don't like at the time. You know what I'm talking about. I wore my favorite sweatshirt, trash bag pants, my fave sneakers. I just wanted to feel good. I also brought purple fuzzy socks with white snowflakes on them. Don't ask why. Got there, we did check-in, gave me my number. I was number 38, and I knew a couple of people there because I had been doing other college auditions. I talked to some new people. Everybody was super nice and super friendly. It was really nice to be able to talk to people before to like de-stress, take a deep exhale, and calm ourselves down by keeping some small talk going. It was pretty chilly that day, so it was a little difficult to get warm, but I highly recommend getting yourself warm before a ballet because just doing some demi-plies and tendus, it's an abbreviated ballet class, so you're gonna want to be as warm as possible before you go in, but don't tire yourself out. Just warm yourself up. You know what to do. We were ready to go into the audition. They called us in number order so we would be ready to go into the room and not have to like do one of these numbers and like scatter around trying to find our spot. We were in number order. I was on like the middle bar, like 3 people back from the front, so I was like chilling in the back. Knew the combinations, but I was so stressed out. Like, I'm sure I messed up some stuff, but they're not looking for perfection. They're looking for potential, and they want to see what you have to offer. A lot of people ask me like, how did you get into Juilliard? I have no idea. They saw something in me that they liked and they wanted to bring to their school, which is really cool to know. I showed that in my audition. That's my goal every time I walk into a studio, a dance class, an audition. I just want to lay it all on the floor and be myself. They don't want to see you trying to dance like you think they want you to dance. They want to see you dance the way you know how to dance. They just want to see you. That's all I did. You can't change the dancer or person you are like overnight, so you just gotta go in and do the best that you can. That's my advice. And go in with a good attitude. Don't go in thinking, oh, I'm totally not gonna get this. I'm not gonna get into Juilliard. The moment you say you're not gonna get in, you're just inviting that negativity into your space around you. Like, I didn't say, oh, I'm gonna get into Juilliard, but I didn't say like, oh, I'm not gonna get in, I suck, like I'm a terrible dancer. Like, no. I was like, today is my Juilliard audition. I'm just gonna teach it. Today is my Juilliard audition. I'm just gonna treat it like a series of master classes. It's so cool that I get to be here and dance in these beautiful studios. Just treat it as you would treat any other class. Be respectful, be attentive. One of the hardest things for me in audition is to really stay present in the moment and focused. So that was something I was really trying to do during all my college auditions, not just Juilliard. Take corrections when you can. That's a really big one for teachers and faculty members. And I try to do that as much as possible. So they lined us up and we were ready for plies. It was a really fun class. It was really like fast paced. Like, it's nerve-wracking with like the panel sitting in front of you. You know, it's really cool to be able to go in and dance for these amazing people. They're literally watching you dance for like an hour, 2 hours, 6 hours. Ballet was really fun. I felt like I did okay. I was nervous, of course, so I was a little shaky. You just had to go into the audition and trust like your training. Trust your training, guys. Trust that you've done the work inside of your normal classes and that you'll be able to execute it in your audition as best as you can. And if you mess up, girl, it's not the end of the world. You'll be okay. If you mess up, just like shrug it off and move on to the next thing. If you forget the combination, just keep moving. They just want to see that you're persistent, you know? That's all I can say. Just never give up. We finished ballet. They were like, thank you. We went into our holding studio where we had been warming up before the ballet portion. I ran as fast as I could to the bathroom because I had to pee like 5,000 times that morning because I had 3 cups of coffee. It was really annoying. It was really bad. But I ran and I changed into my black tights, even though I didn't know if I was getting called for modern yet because they said we wouldn't have a lot of time. So I ran. I was like, I'm not doing modern in pink tights. I ran to the bathroom. I changed. We're just chatting, getting out our nervous energy. We ended up waiting around for like 10-15 minutes while they deliberated. I think in my audition there were 53 people. Nobody was cut at bar, by the way. I think that is very rare. I think the only time they would cut someone at bar is if they've taken like 3 dance classes in their life and they just feel it's too dangerous for them to continue. So I wouldn't worry about that aspect. You'll at least go and get to take a ballet class from faculty at the Juilliard School, which is still pretty darn cool. We had 53 people to start out with. We were all waiting really anxiously. And then they cut us from 53 to 8. 8 people, including myself, which is just, it's crazy. None of the other auditions I did that. The 8 of us were all just like, I was like, me 38? I was in shock. I was like, wow, I made it to modern, like a miracle. It was crazy. We moved on to modern, Horton-based modern class, which was pretty advanced. It was pretty hard. People were saying how it was moderately difficult, but it wasn't nothing too crazy. We started out pretty fast, and then we move on to an across the floor combination where guess what we did? A Coccyx Balancer. And if you're not a dancer or you don't take modern, here you go. A Coccyx balance is when you are laying on the floor. Wow, you can't even see me, but you're laying flat on the floor and then you come up with all of your might. Both sides of your body, like your legs and your torso, they come up together and you hold. And sometimes you'll like extend your legs and like bend them and stuff. We were doing a full rotation on our booties with our legs like this, which is really, really very difficult. I tried to do it as best as I could. I've done them like once or twice before this audition, but not well. Ballet was like an hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes, and then modern was like 45 minutes-ish. Modern was super fun. I really enjoyed the class, even though it was really challenging. It was a really fun challenge, and I was just really enjoying myself. And having 8 people, we actually had more room to dance, which was nice. It was a little nerve-wracking, but you're kind of just really focused in on yourself at that point. Like, you're just focused on getting the combinations, taking corrections, listening to the teacher, like being present, you know, like I said before. After modern, we all went into the next room, and they came in and they looked at their clipboard and looked up and they were like, all of you are moving on to solos. We were all like cheering and celebrating. Yeah, so it was a really like nice environment. It was a really cool experience to like talk to these people from literally all over the country. It was crazy. But we all got to do solos. So once we heard, we like all got out our headphones, our phones, we had our solo music. We all started practicing. They told us we had to slate the name of our choreographer, the name of our piece. That was a little stressful because when you're nervous, it's hard to like really speak up because it's like a whole panel of teachers. Like it's a long table, so you have to really project your voice so that they can hear you, and then also the camera can hear you. So I was really nervous. I was worried that like my voice would be super shaky. Weirdly enough, I felt pretty like comfortable as I could have been that day. I felt like more comfortable than I did in the other aspects of the audition doing my solo, just because it's like territory I know and I've done it so much, and I loved my solo and I loved to perform it. You know, really performing with my facial expression like really gets the stress out for me. So that's what I did that day. After waiting around for like, I don't know, maybe an hour. No, not an hour, like 30 minutes. It was only 8 of us with like 2-minute solos. So I went in, I went up to the camera, I slated, and surprisingly, like this might be one of the proudest moments of that day for me because I was able to like pull myself together and speak up and speak clearly. I slated to the camera, I handed them my phone for my music, and I was set in position for my solo. I heard my music, my heart was like pounding a million miles a minute. My music started and I just took a deep breath. My solo kind of starts with me like, I don't know how to explain it, but like getting like tensed up and then starting to walk. So I was able to like kind of tense up my stressed out energy, and then as I started walking, like breathe out, get it out, and then start performing. And then there's a point in my solo where I point at the panel and then I like, you know, do one of those numbers at the panel, and everybody was like, whoa, what's she doing? Like, this is like really like direct. And it was really scary to like be the person that's like pointing and like whoaing the panel, which is like pretty crazy, but still did it. I finished my solo. I think I did it really well, and which is really weird because usually I'm like, that's not the best, it wasn't very good, but I was really proud with how it went. I finished my solo, they said thank you, and then I went back into the holding studio. After I did my solo, we were all anxiously waiting for the other candidates to finish their solos and for the panel to deliberate on who they wanted to keep and who they wanted to eliminate, if any. We were all chatting, getting each other's Snapchats and taking photos, trying to commemorate this really cool time. Like, we were halfway through the Juilliard audition. Like, not a lot of people can say that, which is like super cool. And I came in and they announced that they were only gonna take 6 of us, and then the 2 that left, who were amazing. So I was like in shock. I was like I'm staying? What? These 2 people that got eliminated are so good. I was just in shock. We were moving on to improv / choreography, and they told us we needed to wear socks because we're gonna be like sliding around or something. So bring socks to your Juilliard audition or your college's audition. Just be prepared for any college audition that you're doing, or just any audition in general. Just bring what you think you might need. The improv was really cool. It was like very experimental, and we got to like play around with like different ideas with the teacher. And after we did some improv work, we started to learn a piece of choreography. The piece was really fun. It was really hard because of like different like coordinations with the arms and the feet, but what do you expect? It was a really cool experience to be able to try and attempt that in front of all of these panelists, and we did it a lot. We got to practice it a lot. He kept giving us tips, he kept giving us ideas of what to think about during the combination, and then we went 2 by 2, which was just crazy. That's like one step away from one at a time, you know what I'm saying? We went 2 by 2, and we started out with the improv. He was telling us about the idea of that improv to the music he was playing. We did the combination. Well, there were 6 of us at that point, so we went 2 by 2. They stopped us after we all went, and then we did it again. We all finished up that class, which was really fun, and then we went back into the holding studio to see if we were all going to be called back for our interview or not. They came into the room looking like sad, and we were all like, what's happening? Like, who are they gonna call? And then they look up from their clipboard and they're like, they're gonna take all of you. And we were all like, oh my god, like that was crazy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we made it. We were all like celebrating and getting really excited. We had made it through. We had made it through the Juilliard audition. Like, what? I cannot explain like how grateful, thankful, and like surprised I was. I was so proud of myself for that day. It was amazing. Then we went on to interview each of us with one of the faculty members that were on the panel. My interview was around 30-ish minutes, I would say. It was one of the longest ones in my whole college application audition process. It was really down to earth. They talk to you as if you're like a human being, which is, it's nice because you are a human being. So my interview went well. They mostly asked me questions based on the essay I had to write for my application. So it's things I already answered in a written form. It was just a nice conversation. It was a really fun experience, and being able to talk to a faculty member of Juilliard, which was pretty darn cool. I still can't believe it, guys. Like, I still can't believe it. After my Juilliard audition, they were like, thank you, you'll hear from us. We got a letter and we got to keep our numbers. And then we all were celebrating. We took a group photo together. So yeah, it was really cool, and it was a really awesome experience. Throughout the course of the day, I told my family that I would text them with updates, but I was so anxious, I only texted them a couple of times. I said I would call my mom on my way home, but I didn't because I wanted to surprise them, you know, and like tell them in person, like, I made it all the way through my Juilliard audition. I said bye to everybody, and everybody was super nice. And then I made my way outside the building, and then it had started to rain, so I had a coat with a hood, thankfully, but no umbrella. I was going to turn on music and listen to it, but I just like wanted to bask in the moment of coming out of my audition and like just being able to think about it outside of the experience and being like, holy crap, I just did that. So I decided not to listen to music, so I walked home in the rain, and personally, I love the rain. So it was like a perfect day, and I didn't have anywhere to go after that, so I was just like getting drenched, and I was like really happy about it. It was great. I was walking home with my hood on, and I was just like holding myself, and I was like calculating like what just happened. I'm like, what just happened? I was mind blown. I was really excited to tell my mom, my sister, like that I'd gotten through. And for some reason, this is like really out of character for me, and my mom and sister both know this.
I'll tell them I didn't make it all the way through and like trick them, like, who, sneaky me.
I came up the stairs and I opened the door and they were like, what happened? And I'm a terrible liar, but I was like,
I didn't make it through.
and they were like, oh, it's okay, I'm sure you did great anyway. And I was like, just kidding, I made it all the way through. Wow! And they were like, oh my god, it's so mean, why would you do that? So yeah, but really out of character, not the moment to do it. But I called my dad, I told him about it, he was really happy, like everybody was really happy. A 1,000,000 out of 10 day. Like it was just the best day ever. And then quarantine happened. We got out of the city. One of my dance teachers told me that Juilliard contacts you via phone call to let you know of your admissions decision, and then they'll email you later. And I was like, what if I'm like, you know, like taking a shower or something? Like, I don't know. I was really stressed out about that. So like the waiting was like the hardest part. My audition was on March 3rd. We went into quarantine on like March 12th or something like that. I was just like kind of living in the moment, like gotta protect ourselves, others, our family. My family was really excited and I was excited too, but I just wanted to like keep my composure. I'll hear back. They're gonna call me or they're not, like it's fine, whatever. But deep inside it was like, wah! Crazy time. A pandemic was happening amongst my admissions decisions, so it was a good time. One day during quarantine, and that day for some reason I decided to take a time lapse of my ballet class, which normally I don't do. Recently I've been doing it more for like Instagram purposes and stuff, but before I hadn't really done a lot of that kind of stuff. But like
Today, I'll take a time lapse of my ballet from Instagram or something.
so I set up my camera and I was waiting for the live to start. The live was starting a little bit late, so I was just like stretching, you know, warming up. The live turns on, we start learning the plie combination. We're not doing it yet and just marking it. She's like, okay, we're gonna do it. She's like 5, 6, 7, 8, the music starts. I come in ready to take my first demi plie and the live cuts off and I'm wearing headphones and I'm like,
oh, are you kidding me? Like, the second I take my first demi plie of a class.
and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting a phone call. It's a random number that I don't have as contact. It's from New York.
I'm like, oh my god, like, what is this?
Could this be the one? I picked up the phone and they're like, is this Kylie? And I'm like, yeah, like, hi, how are you? Good to speak to you again. And they're like, oh, good, how are you? The pleasure's all mine because I am so excited to announce to you that you've been accepted into the class of 2024 at the Juilliard School. I literally screamed. I was like, oh my god. I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, I started crying. I've never like involuntarily cried that much in my entire life. And like my family didn't know. Like I ran into the other room and I was like on the phone and my family's like surrounding me and they're like,
which school is this? Like, who's calling her?
and then my dad like mouths to me and he's like, Juilliard? I'm like crying. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yes. And then my family's all celebrating. We're all like, what? And then he was like, do you have any questions? I was like, do I have any questions? Nope, that's all I needed to know. Thank you so much. And then we hung up. We were silently screaming before because I was still on the phone. But then we all just started screaming. My parents hugged me. Like my sister was celebrating. I was celebrating. Like I was crying. Meanwhile, I caught this all in a time lapse, which you can all see right now. Really thankful that I decided to take some form of a video that day because I have that moment like recorded, like when I got my phone call. Never expected to have that on film, which is super cool. So you guys got to see that. I cannot thank all of my teachers, my friends, my family. I love them so much. Endless support from my parents and my sister. And I'm so thankful and so grateful to have them in my life. Hear my cat? Meow! That's her. Yeah, that's my story of how I applied, prepared, auditioned, and got accepted into the Juilliard School for Dance, which is still so crazy. I'm gonna take you guys on my journey throughout this whole experience with my YouTube, keeping you in the loop. I'll update you as I try to navigate this new chapter in my life. I'm really excited to start. I'm really excited for this new challenge and this new opportunity and new college experience, and I'm so excited. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bell so you know every time that I post. And thank you guys for all of your support on my last video. It means the world to me that people like to watch what I create. And I hope this video helped some people that were a little anxious about applying to Juilliard or just any college dance program or musical theater program. Put yourself out there. The worst they can say is no. And if they do, you move on and you'll end up where you're supposed to be. That's the best advice I can give. So yeah. Thanks, guys. Little dance. Oh my god, I do the weirdest things when I'm alone in my room. Alright, bye guys.